Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the SoCal Prep Report. I'm Rich Estrella, along with my friend and colleague, Bob Gibson. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we are now going into what, week 7, week 8, Bob?
Week 8.
Week 8, huh?
7 weeks in the books. Can you believe it?
I don't.
No, I don't either.
Quick, man.
It has gone quick, but we've seen some really good football along the way.
We
that much we do know.
We certainly have, and what's beautiful about Southern California is, man, the nation passes through here. You want to get to the top of the heap, you got to go through L.A.,
For sure.
right? Because everybody calls Southern California L.A. It doesn't matter if you're in Riverside, you're out in Beaumont, you're L.A., baby.
It's L.A.
Let's go to the scoreboard now and take a look at some of the scores from last week. This game came early this year. Shure and Montebello, both in the Almont League. These guys are crosstown rivals because they're both in the city of Montebello. Yep. So, understandably, it's going to be a close ball game, 38-35 in favor of Shure. Dave Ramos and his Spartans now 6-1. And Dave Ramos was at Bell Gardens prior, and Dave Newell protege. So Shure's in good hands. And there you see poor Pete Gonzalez lost a game, but you know he still got a shot at the league championship.
You know, there's more people now that are playing these kind of crosstown rivalry games earlier on, and maybe that's for the better because guys are so beat up by the end. Sometimes you're not getting the best competition between the rival schools. I kind of like it when they're a little bit earlier now.
I like the other side of it. I like to be at the end of the line, baby. Only the strong survive, and with the last man standing, we got all our players. Where are yours? You know, so just throw it out there. But anyways, a good ball game again in the city of Montebello. Let's continue on the scoreboard and take a look. We see Etiwanda and Chino Hills. Bob, this score's up here for no other reason than it was a basketball game.
Yes, it was.
And I do think this was a basketball score, so please forgive us if we put the score up here and it was the basketball game. Etiwanda 66, Chino Hills 63.
How many points for the Ball brothers in that one for Chino Hills? Anybody?
Well, there's no Ball brothers
right.
there.
Sorry, they're
not
there
gone.
anymore.
They left them high and dry. Anyways, running back, Etiwanda running back, Larry Starks, 24 carries, 242 yards, 5 touchdowns for Etiwanda. And for Chino Hills, man, they had Walter Carl III, 27 carries, 163 yards and a touchdown. But, man, you know, Starks, 242 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's not even his best game by far this year. He's had like a 300-yard game.
Yeah, no, and they, obviously defense was not the order of the day out there. All offense. Etiwanda and Chino Hill, it's been some lean times for Etiwanda because Centennial, of course, goes all out and just completely destroys everybody out there in the Inland Empire.
Not their fault.
Chino Hill's had some good years too. Nice to see those teams maybe starting to come back just a little bit. Kind of nice.
Maybe the Ball brothers should play football out there. They dominate.
How much fun would that be?
It would be a blast, I'll tell you that. Moving on to scoreboard, taking a look at some other scores real quick. And these are all that random, man. There's no rhyme or reason for any of these scores. You know what I mean? Bob put them all in a hopper, all 500 games, and
we just
pulled out 5 or 6.
Thing, right.
All right, now we're going to the Trinity League. Jay Sarah, 52-21 over Orange Lutheran. Quarterback Matt Robinson of Jay Sarah, 3 touchdown passes. Bob, you're a Trinity League specialist. What the heck's going on? We've talked about Jay Sarah would eventually move to the top of the heap. It just took a little longer, and I don't know, man. They might make their move because they got a big game this week. We'll talk about that in a minute.
We will, and I'm going to say something maybe a little controversial to some people out there, but I think Matt Robinson is the MVP of the Trinity League.
Oh, come on.
MVP of the Trinity League.
Really?
I'm going to tell you why, because now Pat Harlow is the coach of the year in Southern California.
Right, ex-USC Trojan.
I think he's got to be the coach of the year. Jay Sarah has been an also-ran in the Trinity. Not that they haven't been a good program, but they've just been an also-ran there. They've been good enough to compete at times, maybe with Servite and when Santa Margarita was down. Jay Sarah is right there now, 7-0. They're going to play 7-0 modern day. Like you said, we're going to talk about that. But Jay Sarah at 7-0 at this point, you could make an argument, not a good one, but you could make a little bit of an argument that their schedule this year has been every bit as tough as Modern Day's schedule.
Well, I won't make that argument because Modern Day has already played 3 teams in the top 10 this year, and they've beaten them all.
I hear you there. But as far as Southern California talent, Jay Sarah's played everybody, and they ran up some big offensive numbers. Matt Robinson.
They didn't play Gorman, man.
They didn't. You're right. They did not play Gorman.
They didn't play the Rams. They didn't play the Chargers. Come on.
Okay, I'll give you that much. Jay Sarah is for real. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think they're going to put some big points up. I think, unfortunately, Modern Day is capable of putting up more points. But we'll talk about that in just a minute.
All right, man.
Let's get through the scoreboard.
You also thought Carolina was going to kill Denver in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, Bob.
You got to bring that up.
I have to bring that up. Let's continue on scoreboard. Let's take a look now. I believe we're going to look at, Charter Oak Los Altos, Bob. This game's usually really good. This is usually for the Hacienda League Championship, and the winner usually goes on and either wins CIF or makes an appearance as a runner-up in the finals. This year, man, it wasn't quite the game you would think it was. I told you, Charter Oak was sleeping that 14-7 win last week to Diamond Ranch. They didn't show nothing. They went back to a basic offense, just, 3 yards on a cloud of dust, so to speak. They didn't show Los Altos anything. They came back with a whole new offense, and look what happened.
Sometimes you just want to do that. Sometimes you just want to go back to the
You
basics.
have to, yeah.
And Charter Oak, I tell you, Lou Farrar, man, there at Charter Oak, year in and year out, that is just a top program.
Well,
I don't know how they do it, because there's not a whole lot of talent to be spread around that whole entire area, but he gets all of it out there in his little neck of the woods. He gets everybody out there to play Charter Oak. That's a little school. That's not a big school.
I'm not even sure it's the players. This is what I think's going on. Lou Farrar's about, what, 115?
Yeah, probably.
He's been around forever. Lou Farrar, seriously, all kidding aside, we know Lou really well, so we could joke about it. But, he's got a ton of victories as a high school, more than 300. Been around a long time. He is definitely venerable. And I just think it's experience. I don't care what you put in front of Lou. Lou's going to coach those guys to win. He's Lombardi. What do you want me to tell you?
We'll talk about Tustin. Myra Miller left Tustin. They went in the tank. As soon as Myra Miller came back to Tustin, look, they're undefeated again. So you're right. Sometimes these coaches come back, and when they come back, they will will their teams.
You need to recharge your batteries sometime. Coaching's a tough job. I was at the CIF Hall of Fame luncheon today, and man, I listened to all these guys. It was football coaches being inducted, baseball coaches being inducted. I mean, there was a ton of, and everybody had stories about what's going on, and you know what? That's one thing. Next week we'll bring some highlights from that luncheon, because a lot of good guys, including Dave White and Kent Such, got inducted into the Hall of Fame today.
Legends.
But these guys are the guys that all their proteges from their coaching chair are out there now, and they're all doing outstanding. But yeah, Myra Miller's one of those old throwback guys. He's running that wing tee, and I'm interested to see what he's brought Tustin right back up to the top, throwing a big monkey wrench into everybody's plans. We're winning. Miller's gone. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Right. The Empire League thought, we're gonna get some new champions. Put the brakes on that.
Man. Miller's back, baby. All right, let's take a couple more scores. Sierra Canyon, Calabasas, Bob. Everybody's shocked. Calabasas has, 350 transfers in the last 4 years?
Yeah, absolutely.
They all transfer in. They come from all over the country. They leave their schools. And Sierra Canyon, Sierra Canyon's pretty good in football. Let's not lie about it. They got a lot of bread up there where they play. They're good athletes. They got the best training, and they took it to Calabasas this week.
Hey, it's just 5 years ago, Sierra Canyon won a state championship.
Yeah,
right
they
there
were
in the
great.
Home Depot Center, or whatever they call that, Chargers.
Charger Field, baby.
Right?
You
Charger
call it
Field.
that.
You're right. Sierra Canyon won a state title. Sierra Canyon is a really good program.
Yeah.
Another small school that just gets it done. That's a big win for that program over Calabasas. That is a big win.
Yeah, Bob's not kidding about that. All right, take a look at the big game this last week. Everybody was waiting for this game across the country. Mater Dei Bosco, 31-21 ball game. The score was 28-14, I believe, at halftime. Was it 28-21, Bob?
28-21, right.
Right,
so basically Mater Dei got shut out in the second half for all intents and purposes.
Oh, they didn't. They got a field goal.
All right, fine.
Bosco got shut out in the second half.
And Bosco is a penalty on a punt return away from being first and goal at the 1 yard line. They had a punt return back to the 1, brought back on a penalty. I'll tell you, that whole thing could have turned around right there. I think that let all the air out of the balloon, unfortunately, for Bosco. And they didn't get a chance to make a run at the end, but Mater Dei just so strong. Amon-Ra St. Brown, they just put an onslaught in that first quarter against Mater Dei.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, Bob.
Well, you're right, because
if Real Mitchell would have played, we would have stomped them. You hear all this crap. It doesn't matter.
In the end, you line up the athletes against the athletes.
That's right.
And Mater Dei got it done. Why? Because I think Mater Dei is the team of destiny this year. We've talked about it. I don't think anyone's getting in the way of Mater Dei. Jay Serra's not going to get in their way. Nobody's going to get in the way of Mater Dei. I don't even think Centennial can hang with them this year. And Centennial will hang with them.
Your Rams can't beat them, so.
I don't know. I'd like to see that matchup.
Be a good game. Listen, Mater Dei is good because up front they dominate everybody.
Yeah.
Their linemen are smart. They're big. They're tough. And they have athletes. You saw that. You have tons of athletes there. Half the team's going T1. So, they got some players. But again, the line, when you have good you're strong up front offensively, in the offensive line, you can do whatever you want, and you're going to win. You're going to win constantly.
Well, and I'll tell you what it is, the front seven of Mater Dei this year, too. No one's really talking about Mace Funa, and all those guys up front that have just made the difference this year, stopping the run against everybody this year. Nobody's running against them. If you have any chance, Santa Margarita was able to throw the ball a little bit against them. I think Jay Sarah will be able to throw the ball a little bit against Mater Dei this week, but you're not going to run the ball. You're never going to run the ball against Mater Dei this year. Just not going to happen.
All right, before we go to the top 10 for this week, let's go to the high desert, man, and see what Carlos Pena was up to this weekend.
Love the high desert.
Maybe we won't. Supposed to go there.
Hello everybody and welcome to this week's SoCal Prep Report. I'm Carlos Pena and I'm bringing you football from the high desert, where tonight we have Apple Valley taking on Burroughs. Let's take it to the action now.
Opening first quarter action. Burroughs' opening drive put them at the Sun Devil 20 as quarterback Austin Griffin used his arm to deliver this pass to Bryson Pippin. On the very next play, miscommunication led to an overturned ball. Apple Valley's Chad Smith recovers the ball and returns it to the Burroughs 17-yard line with 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Apple Valley Jeff Wider with a 16-yard pass to Kashawn Griffin for the touchdown and lead. Apple Valley 7, Burroughs 0. Second quarter action. Burroughs quarterback Austin Griffin took to the air and found Bryson Pippin behind a screen. Same series, and Austin Griffin found the tight end Jack Sherritt with a quick pass. With 9 minutes left, Austin Griffin runs it in for the touchdown. The point after by Maya Morales would tie the game at 7. Late into the third quarter, and Burroughs quarterback Austin Griffin would be injured as backup quarterback Jalen Beecroft took charge, who would hand off the ball to Antonio Ramirez for a big gain. Burroughs used this pass to get within scoring distance. Antonio Ramirez would take the ball, but Apple Valley defense held their ground, stopping him just short. Third quarter, Apple Valley's Jeff Widener handed the ball to Donovan Ferguson for this 50-yard run to the 2-yard line. No time to rest for Donovan Ferguson as he was given the ball for the touchdown. Apple Valley 14, Burroughs 7 with 5 minutes left in the quarter. Fourth quarter, and Apple Valley will hold on to the ball for the final minutes, ending the game 14-7. This was a much anticipated game as Burroughs was in position to topple the mighty Sun Devils. Apple Valley stayed true to their running game while Burroughs' air attack was put on hold. Let's take a look at the scores from around the desert. Silverado 56, Barstow 29. Victor Valley 56 over Adelanto. Serrano, now 2-0 in league play, have turned things around. 45 over Hesperia 27. Oak Hills 21. Sultana 7. 0-2 since their loss to Serrano. Excelsior losing to Santa Paola. Silver Valley over SPX MA. Rich Bob, that closes up this week's report from the high desert. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Carlos. Coming to you from the high desert. And we have Carlos out there because Bob won't go cover those guys. Why don't you cover the high desert,
I want to go
Bob?
out to SPX MA. I want to visit that campus.
What is
That's
that?
right. St. Pius X, St. Matthias Academy. Is that what it was? St. Matthew
Make
Academy?
it up, brother. Just say whatever it is. Nobody's going to question you.
I don't know.
You know, Carlos might call and complain about it.
I got to find out where that school is. I'm doing a little research in the
Very good.
the off week here.
All right, let's go to the top 10 this week and see what's happened around the southern section. How much has changed, Bob? Do you have a look at this?
Yeah, no, not much has changed at all because really we haven't seen like Mater Dei Centennial up top. We know that Bosco didn't move down. I think Jay Sarah should be above St. John Bosco at this point. I mean, what's Bosco got? 3 losses.
Bosco's defending state champ. They've lost against 2 teams in
last
the top,
year's news.
in the top 10 in the country.
Yesterday's news, my friend. Yesterday's news. Jay Sarah's the team on the rise.
I'm not defending it, man.
Orange Lutherans lost a couple. I think Mission Viejo could easily be bumped up in there. Mission Viejo's looked as good as anybody.
You know, if you're
and
going to rip
hey,
this,
you going to leave Pauly at 9 all year?
The crew put this together. Allison, you worked hard on this, didn't you? You did. She worked hard on putting this together, and you're over here, I think this, I think that. You should have told her to her face.
Fine, we'll talk.
Instead of waiting until she got on the air, Bob.
We'll talk over the sandwiches and the spread afterwards,
All right.
everything's done.
But anyways, yeah, some of the movement here would be Jay Sarah moving up. Of course, Long Beach Poly moving into the top 10. They only have 1 loss on the season, man. They don't need to fall out that far, you know. And, of course, Upland, San Clemente, Mission Viejo all move up. I'm interested to see what's going to happen. We got with Mission Viejo, and San Clemente. I want to see that game. That's South Coast.
That's going to be one. That's a candidate for game of the year.
And whoever loses
really
that
believe
game,
that.
they will not drop out of this top 10, right? They will not drop out.
No,
Allison said no.
Allison's making sure that's not going to happen.
All right, good enough. So, anyways, that is your top 10 from top to bottom. How many Trinity League teams we still have in there, Bob? We got Servite moved
Everybody
out.
but
Servite moved out.
Servite's got a couple of
And
losses.
Santa Margarita
now,
loses
right
again, they might have to move out.
now. Everybody but Servite. That's true. No, Santa Margarita. If Santa Margarita
They're going to
loses,
lose. They're
they
going to
will
lose the
drop.
Mater Day this week.
They will.
They're
They're gonna lose again?
I mean, no sage here, but I'd bet the house on that.
Yeah. Well.
Larry's house, not mine. Larry's Lafala's house, man. I ain't putting mine up. All right, where do we go from here? Oh, now we're going to go to the city section report with Randy Rosenblum.
Well, the big story this week in the city section is Dorsey and Crenshaw in football in the Coliseum League. And the Crenshaw Cougars won the football game for the first time in 3 years, 33-14 behind Solomon Hassan's 3 touchdown runs. Scores from 2, 73 and 35 yards for Hassan. The quarterback Isaiah Johnson of the Cougars also contributed. He had a touchdown run of 13 yards and threw another strike for a score. A big win for the Cougars, probably the number 2 team in the city to Narbonne. As for Dorsey, they fall to 1-6. Despite that record, they're still ranked 7th in the Max Prep City poll. Moving forward, a huge win in the Eastern League for Southgate. Coming from 21 points down and knocking off Garfield, 49-48. Quarterback Ernie Arcia throws 5 touchdowns, the last one to Deontay Jenkins. That got him to within 1. Then they went for the 2. And again, it was Arcia to Jenkins for the 2-point conversion to win the game by a single digit. Grant in the East Valley League continues to play terrific football. 41-20 over Pauley. The story there, the quarterback, Adrian Beeks. Beeks rushes for 3 long touchdowns for the Lancers. They scored early and often, and Pauley was never really in this game. The Lancers did also unleash an outstanding sophomore running back, Michael Smith, who had a 39-yard touchdown run. Smith is the fastest young man in the entire Grant program. Grant, 18 out of 21 now for Franco Stasili, going back to last year. The Lancers, a powerhouse in the East Valley as they battle with Arleta for the league championship. In the Marine League, Carson gets by San Pedro 25-17. Both teams now 1-1 in the Marine League. It's a big bounce-back win for Carson High School, who dropped a big decision the week before to Narbonne. Speaking of the Gauchos, they blank Banning 51-0. They are playing terrific football again at Narbonne. They're the 3-time city champions, so it's no surprise Banning has a good football team. But they could not stop Jamar Jefferson. He scores 5 touchdowns, the transfer from Redondo. He's doing a great job for Manuel Douglas all season long. In the Northern League, Eagle Rock 70, Torres 13. Quarterback Davey Stone throws for 6 touchdowns and rushes for 2 more TDs. And another Coliseum League, Los Angeles and Hawkins were winless in their first 6. It is LA, the Romans get the victory 28-16. Davion Bennett scores 4 touchdowns for Los Angeles. Those were powerhouse teams last year, not the same story this year. Girls volleyball need to talk about what happened this past week as in the West Valley League, a huge victory for Taft High School out in Woodland Hills. They get by Chatsworth in the 5th set, 15-12, and knock off a very, very good team. They beat Chatsworth, then they beat Granada Hills in 5, so it's been a great week for Armand Mercado's team. The one young lady that really came up big was Shelby Roloff. She had 24 kills in the victory over Granada Hills. And this week, we're going to see again Justin Hazel, the terrific runner, the cross-country runner from El Camino. Earlier this year, he won the Clovis Invitational. He's the LA City champion. He's running again this week at Mount Sac. He is a spectacular runner, and he's a guy that down the road has a chance to win the state championship. Key football game this week, Narbonne and San Pedro. Potentially the only stumbling block on the record this year for Narbonne in city section activity. If they get by San Pedro, should be clear sailing all the way to the LA City Championship semifinals and perhaps finals, and maybe just another championship for Narbonne. Now let's go back to the good old guys. You know who they are, Rich Estrella and Bob Gibson.
Thank you, Randy. And Randy, good job on that city section, man. Learned a lot every week just listening to what's going on out there.
He's got it covered, you know.
Yeah?
For years and years,
Absolutely.
Randy's been the voice of the city section. He's the guy out there.
Still is. All right, hey, real quick, we want to do a real fast, this is a happy story, you know, on this show and on shows in particular, you know, if you're not doing something nefarious, you don't get on, all right? So you got to do something crazy. Well, there was a cop in Skokie, Illinois that got called to a gym, some kind of workout joint, probably, you know what they are. I'm not going to name any names. So anyways, this kid right here, this kid's 15. He had a membership to the gym. He kept, and I guess his mom, something happened with her job and she couldn't afford to pay anymore, but the kid kept showing up. He kept sneaking in and sneaking in. And there's the Mr. Officer, I believe that guy's Officer Gonzalez, is it, Larry? Anyways, that's it. But anyways, his name's Mario Valentin. Mario Valentin. And there he is. But anyways, he, instead of arresting the kid, like for trespassing, because he could have, he offered to pay for the kid's membership.
That's a nice story.
Now, you know what's funny is that the gym people that work there, the people that work the door say the kid would never come into the front door. He would just automatically appear like a magician. And they'd be on the lookout for him because he came the same time every day. Somehow he was getting in. And I think it's just a great story that the police officer, instead of taking him away, arresting him, reprimand, whatever, decided to pay for the thing. He said he can size up people pretty quickly, and he decided this kid was just a good kid, needed a place to play.
Right. Hey,
great story.
That's what it's all about. Just helping somebody out, when they need a little helping hand.
We need some nice, soft, good, cool music, man. Good vibes, because that is a good story. But now, now we're going to trash something else now, all right? Now we're going to go to the nefarious side of life, all right? So, Bob, we talked a couple weeks ago about that coach that tossed a case of water against the wall to make a point, and it happened to bounce off in a couple of bottles hit a kid, and now there's lawsuits and lawyers.
Of course,
and,
always.
Yeah, everybody's in there. But now last week, the story came out of a Beaumont coach here out in Beaumont, California, where a coach allegedly punched a kid in the stomach as discipline. And I'm thinking, so? I mean, come on, Bob. We've all been there. Well, our coaches, this is not an assault. This is a discipline move. Everybody gets it. And of course, I gotta say I'm kidding right now. But all I gotta say is when I was a kid, I mean, that was just pretty normal.
You and I couldn't talk about some of the things that happened to us when we were playing, right? I mean, there'd probably be arrests.
There'd be a lot of arrests, man.
It went on, but
everybody would be in jail at my former high school if we told what happened to belt lines, pink bellies. They used to have this area out there in the field where it was all caged up, and they would bring this lion in from Barnum and Bailey Circus and have him chase us to teach us how to run fast. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the kind of stuff we were up against, Bob.
Some of the kids needed a little extra reminder of how to behave, and they get their arms taped behind their back, and tennis balls would make their way really fast into people's with no chance to defend yourself.
Well, that's
the
just
kind
crazy.
of stuff that might happen.
I saw the punch, and I know nowadays everybody's all sensitive to all this stuff, but I'm just telling you, ask all the guys out there, you guys old timers know what I'm talking about. You were all there, all right? We had Marines coaching us, man, and it was crazy. Yeah. The guys are coming back with post-traumatic syndrome, and nobody knew about it. And then they were giving them all to us, and we were going through post-traumatic syndrome after they were coaching us. All right? It was a good time. I'd do it all over again.
It's a little different now than it was back then.
Bob, we got to get out of this now. We're going to get in some trouble here. We better move on to the top 10 nationwide.
All right,
let's take a look at the nationwide top 10 because it has changed, all right?
It has indeed.
So, Bob, I've been notified that it may not come up on the graphic, so we're going to, we were going to turn around and look, but it's not there. But look, we got it on paper here.
Okay, we got it.
All right, modern day is still number 1 in case anybody had any doubt. They just beat number 5 Bosco, as you could see here. No, that's not it.
That's the old school
ING
word.
Academy, of course, is not going to lose another game because it's not a real school where you go there to play ball, multiple sports, right? Kind of like modern day, Bob, right?
Absolutely.
You can't say that. We're just kidding, all right? It's all tongue-in-cheek. Look. All right. Corona Centennial, 3rd place. They played a lot of good teams this year. American Heritage, we got Central Florida.
Look at Allen,
Texas. These guys are really good. This Central team could be a sleeper, man. I'm telling you right now. Allen, Texas is still hanging out. Bosco 7, Bishop Gorman. Bishop Gorman's here because they play a lot of top 10, 15 schools, man.
Ben Davis. I like this. Making their way into the top 10 here. Indiana.
Yeah, but you know what? This is suspect, all right?
Well,
me and Allison had a long talk about this one, and we were very suspect about Ben Davis because they did not play anybody in the top 25, and they only played Indiana schools. What's up? You're not in California, Florida, or Texas. Can't do that, but they're there. Of course, JCR checks in at 17. They leapfrog Mission Viejo. They went from like number 99 to number 17.
All the way up to 17. That's what happens when you go 7-0 and you beat Corona Del Mar and some of the other great teams in Southern California.
Mission Viejo at 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 California teams in the top 20.
Gotta love it.
going to
Gotta
go
love
through
it.
LA. I'm telling you, the road to the finals is going to go there.
Well, this is the place to be, right? This is where all the great football's played. Don't let them tell you it's Texas or Florida or Georgia.
it's
It's
all-
right here, Southern California.
Okay, here's what I'm seeing right now, Bob. Mater Dei still has to, they already beat Bosco. They still have to
Right.
play Jay Serra, right? Is there anybody else you have to worry about? No, so
No.
it'll be interesting. If Jay
That's it.
Serra wins this
Bosco's
game.
already out. Bosco's out in the Trinity.
Yeah.
Mater Dei's already taking care of them, right? Once they take care of Jay Serra, which I'm predicting will happen.
Right.
Now Jay Serra might drop just a little bit, not too much.
I liked the way we were
we-
floating. It was
are
cool.
we floating out
It
of
was
here?
cool, Bob. They had the back of your head. So, anyways, that's the top
Never show them
25.
the back of your head.
All right, let's continue on. Let's take a look at this week's key matchups. Are we going to have these on the screen, or are we going to go back here? All right. Either way, we're ready to go. Let's go. Key matchup this week include Valencia-Tustin. Really not much to say. It says this is the only game that is going to be close to anybody beating Tustin. It's the only competition they have, Bob. That's why this game's up here.
Well, this is not for a league championship yet. And Pacifica, which is 6-1, is going to have something to say about this.
they're
as well.
not. No, come on,
Pacifica,
get out of here.
Pacifica
I know
thinks
their
they've got a
Bob,
chance.
did you see their schedule?
I've seen it.
All
I've
right.
seen it. Tustin's going to
Just
roll.
don't bet on it,
Tustin
okay?
will roll.
All right, continue on. Los Alamitos, Edison. These two teams know each other very well. 4-3, 5-2. But hey, look at both these teams. Their losses came to very, very good programs. Don't let this fool you. By the way, I saw Dave White today.
Yeah,
Edison
the
coach,
legend,
great guy.
Edison,
Yeah, we're gonna have an interview with him next week, and it's gonna be noisy.
Real quick, the biggest surprise in the Sunset, Newport Harbor 0-7. When have you ever seen a Newport Harbor team 0-7?
Well, it happens to
Wow,
everybody
tough.
every now
and
and then.
you look at their schedule. That has been a tough schedule. Tough
Yeah,
sledding
they lost-
for the Sailors.
They
this
lost
year.
focus. Somebody's not paying attention to the fine details in Newport Harbor right now.
No,
He'll
but,
get it back.
Edison continues to roll in that Sunset.
Let's continue on with the scoreboard.
Keep
Come
it
on,
going.
let's roll it, baby. Come on now. We got a couple minutes left here. Crescenta
Burbank.
Valley, Burbank. Crescenta Valley, Burbank. It's another good ball game. Crescenta Valley 7-0, Burbank 5-2. This game is a toss-up. Again, Burbank playing a really tough preseason schedule.
I'm gonna predict Burbank with the upset here. Mild
All right,
upset.
you can
Mild
have it.
upset.
I'll give it to you.
I'm taking
You
that.
got it, baby.
I got it.
Now let's get down to the big game this week. This is another one everybody's going to be talking about. So Bob, take it away. 7-0 Mater Dei, 7-0 Jay Serra. Mater Dei again with another national game. Number 1 Mater Dei in the country. Number 17 Jay Serra in the nation. I mean, if they win this game, they almost have to give them the title because nobody else has played this many top 20 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody would be even come close to it. Jay Serra will put up some points in this game, no doubt about it. Mater Dei will match him touchdown for touchdown. In the end, Mater Dei's defense a little better than Jay Serra's. That'll be the difference. Don't be surprised to see Jay Serra hang in this game for a long time. I think they'll be hyped for it.
Now-
Mater Dei gets it done, though.
Now,
yeah.
Bob's not kidding. These two teams right now are mirror images, although Mater Dei's played a much better schedule to this point. But, you know, Jay Serra averages 49 points a game. Mater Dei averages 46. What is Jay Serra? 23 points a game allowed.
Right.
Mater Dei 16. So it's a touchdown difference on the defensive side.
Yeah, and that'll
It's
be
a
the
mirror image, baby. I'm telling you,
it really
Bob.
is. This will be a great game. This might even be better than the game a week ago against
Well,
Boston.
I'm calling the upset right now.
Ooh.
Just for controversy's sake, just to rile people up, I'm calling the upset. Jay Serra will win this game, and next week they'll be the new number 1. How about
this
that?
is on YouTube forever. Don't
Okay,
forget
maybe
about
Alabama will be number 1 still next week. We'll have to wait and see about that. All right, Bob, anything else you want to say to anybody in closing? Because we do have to get out of here.
I'm just hyped up. I'm hyped up about that.
Oh, wait a minute. I've
about
been
that
informed we
game.
have a minute and a half. I'm
we
sorry.
got a minute and a
we gotta
half.
stretch it now. Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought we had less time than that.
I'm really excited about that game. This is really rivalry week. A lot of the rivals
Yeah.
get together. I'll be out at the Costa Mesa Estancia game
There's a good game,
this
too.
Friday. That's a long-time rivalry, been going on
Is
since
that Estancia High School?
1965. This is at Costa Mesa High has a brand new stadium on campus. This is the first time.
It's not as good
this
as
game.
Estancia.
No. Jim Scott Stadium over at Estancia is a
If you
really good
If
location.
you haven't been to Estancia High, and I've only been there a couple times, but I called the game there one time, and man, the sunset just goes right into the water, man. It's awesome.
Beautiful. It's a great place to see a game. But this one will be at Costa Mesa's brand new on-campus stadium.
I don't know, man. If I had that land, I'd build houses right there, baby. Get rid of that school.
Hey, this one's a quick. Talk about mirror image teams. This one's a coin flip.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be good.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Bob, in closing, because we did have to stretch a little bit.
A
Because
little bit,
we were looking at the clock and I said, hey, wait a minute. The clock's off a little bit today.
Now we got 30 seconds.
All right.
Now we can wrap it up.
All right, everybody. Hope you have a great football weekend. Hope your team does well. You come back here next week and join us for some more fun and frolic. And we'll see what happens. Next week, we'll be taking a look at some of the inductees into the Hall of Fame. We're not going to do a lot. We won't bore you with it, because I was bored to tears over there. But, nah,
There's a couple of big.
a good luncheon. And we had some good food. What do you want from me? Yeah, we did. No, it wasn't. $35 a pop.
Oh.
Yeah. It wasn't cheap, man. All right, on behalf of Bob Gibson and Randy Rosenblum, I'm Richard Stracian. So long from your friends here at the SoCal Prep Report. See you next week.